Alright. As per usual, let's do a bit of jabbing. Let's do a bit of jabbing then. More HomuLabs. Yap. Let's go. And I know it's gonna get very boring. So I have prepared some background music. Should be good enough, right? Yeah. Okay. Alright, very long post ahead. Pog. So it is exactly 1 year since part 2. Holy, I'm old. Honestly, to me, it still feel like it was yesterday. That's true though. It feel like, no, not yesterday, it's like 6 months. 6 months? But looking back, we have been through a lot in just, hold on, what? We have been through a lot in just 7 chapters. Really? Has it been that much? Alright. I wanted to take this opportunity to share some of my thoughts and impression of part 2, 1 year later. Alright, let's hear it. First of all, the launch was a complete disaster. That's true though, that's completely true. In my opinion, the game was literally unplayable on low-end mobile and PC devices. While they still improved the graphics, the optimization for new zones was terrible. I don't know if I can talk about this, but during the beta testing, I think you can stream that. Bro, like it was fucking lagging. The open world was lagging as fuck. Like I don't think my laptop is that low end. It's like pretty medium to high end. It was lagging, man. Like God, I was dying in the map. Whoa, like lucky enough that they fixed the bug, the glitch, whatever. But good job to them that they fixed the thing. But it was so bad during playtest testing. Then we had the infamous chapter 1 of part 2, which did poor job of representing the new setting and igniting people interest in the story. Ooh, part 1, chapter 1. What was chapter 1 again? Oh no, it was the Songcher stuff. The Songcher swatting and stuff. That's like the only thing I remember. And some like background wood building stuff, which is very boring. I think what they need to do, right, is do character introduction, like 2 of them for like 2 chapters, and then start the story from there. Because like, oh god, this is straight into a new world. You have no idea what about, and they expect you to know everything. Is horrendous. For the most part, the pacing was slow, bloated with dialogue. I mean, that's just every honkai game, and full of exposition that make players more confused than anything. That's true. That I think Euphoria's might did the same thing, but less, but kind of still the same. It's not that it's like it's not a lot of information. It's not a lot of information on Euphoria's. It's just that just nothing happened, man. It's just nothing happened there. It's just like mid in overall. But let's come back to Honkai. I didn't mind that chapter since I'm very invested in the story and lore. I wanted to learn more. Sure, lore master here, But I also acknowledge that I'm part of the top 1% players. Okay, top 1% is like, well, Honkai top 1%. Really? Like, I don't know, man. Like, pretty sure he mean like the top 99%. People who play the game, I think, are the people who invest in lore. Like 1%? Nah, it's like 80 or something, bro. But let's come to the story and lore investment. I even went out my way to read some promotional materials. Wait, what? Released on CN only? How did I never know? Okay, sure, whatever. So by the time the chapter hits, I was already familiar with the characters and concepts. Okay, so like reading the quote-unquote leaks. So were most people who follow my content, but we need to realize that we are the minority. Not really. And most people who don't have the same level of investment and dedication, for them it felt a lot worse to go through. True, that's true. That's me. Evidence, me. I was dying. Then there were other issues like the unfinished UI. Unfinished UI? Really the UI were unfinished? I did not really, for real? I thought. All I remember is that they changed the UI a lot. Some hate it, some love it. The most hated part is like the Valkyrie background. Like we keep complaining and they never fucking change it for some reason. Like I love the bridge background on the Valkyrie menu. That they are so good, but then they just change it to the whatever blue, gray, whatever it is. That's so ugly. And the other one, I think it's just fine. But really, unfinished UI, the new ushering system that left a good number of part 1 units in the dust. That's true though. That's true. And hoyoverse, I mean, they did improve it in the later patch, but that's true. The ushering feel at start bit sussy, bit bad, bit kind of like horrible game design, but later on the game it is good, but not really at the start though. But I still remember people were complaining that they can't play the part 1 character. I still remember it. I mean, still to this day though, that they complain that they can't use SNT anymore. And hoyoverse decision to market part 2 as a new story to attract new players, when in fact it's not. Part 2 is not a new story, it's the direct continuation of part 1 that ties directly into the lore and events that happened previously, and require knowledge of both part 1 and part 1.5 to fully understood. Does it? I feel like part 2 can be a standalone, but it's, yeah, he's not wrong. You do need some background lore for this, but not a lot, I think. Maybe about some honkai stuff, or like the finality, Kiana being the finality, or like finality is like the god, whatever. I don't think you need to know that much lore for part 2, because I'm pretty sure part 2 is just completely different concept than part 1. Like part 1 we were dealing with like the honkai stuff, right? Whereas in part 2 we are just on Mars. Like Mars is the problem, not honkai. So you don't really need that much lore. Maybe you need some, but I don't really know. What is this? And this backfired in the worst way. It failed to attract new players and give existing one an excuse to leave. True, but I do not think reason why they left part 2 because it's connected to part 1. It's semi-connect. No, I think the reason why they left is because the story. Let's say that, like as he mentioned before, right? Part 2 is loaded with dialogues. It's very confusing, and I think that's why people left. If they make the first few chapters short, funny, and less words, I think that is very good for Honkai to go from there. But instead they decided, no, let's just make another like 10 hours of just pure lore. Now that is like the worst way you can ever start a new section of the game. Like, I mean, yeah, he's not wrong. Like, they keep advertising part 2 is like the revive of Honkai, maybe the player base, you know. But then they just decide to, you know, release chapter 1 immediately as like a fucking visual novel. And you know, new players, they don't like to read. We need, I think what Honkai part 2 need, just simply if the dev can just travel back in time, right? They need to make part 1 short, funny, and that's literally it. Introduce character, and that's it. Do not bring in any new lore. Do not, because new players, they do not give a shit about the lore. They give a shit 2 chapter in, and yeah, simply if the dev can travel back in time, do not yap. Simply do not yap. Not gonna lie, when 7.3 came out, what? 7.3 is part 2, right? I'm pretty sure, yeah, okay. I lost my faith in the game for the first time, and even contemplated whether I wanted to continue making content on it. Nonetheless, I decided to give part 2 a fair chance. But if they continue in the same manner, I had made up my mind to quit. So how did things turn out? Okay, sure. Well, I'm happy to say that the game did a 180 and improved with every patch since then. Did it? Chapter 1, 2, 3. I think the entire entire Langshu is pretty bad right up until the Songche boss battle. That one I feel is fine. But then they didn't the entire, yeah, this is like a simulation, like no, you did, like nothing you did here is important. No, that is dog shit right there. Like it feel like you did entire chapters to solve Langshu and that shit became irrelevant. Like, come on, man, you can't be fucking serious, dog. Like, we did all that just to make like we make no progress at all. That's what I feel. And then now we have a new big picture, which is just Mars alone. Which I think it's fine, but they could have just said that in the first bit, man. Like, why make us, like, why have whole chapters introducing who they are, like Lantern, Phenomena, Songcher. Just have them to just reset again and don't know who we are. Like, that just feels so fucking bad. Like, why are you doing that, man? And then we had the reveal of what the god in Lanshu or Mars, not Senna, the different one, the brown hair one. That one, like, then we have no idea like who she is. We know that she is us, but there's like no other information, which is really. And then I mean that's the big reveal, and besides that, like nothing else. I feel like the entire part 2 is just a nothing though. I mean the Crowley death is pretty impactful, but I did not read, so I still remember vividly how 1 year ago HSR was praised for Penacony story over the internet. That shit was everywhere. Genshin was writing on Cortez of Fontaine and Sumeru. I think also Sumeru. And the community was excited to see what Nathan had. What, bro? You sure? The community was excited to see Nathan? Brother, you sure about that, bro? You sure about that? I don't know, man. I don't know about fucking Nathan, dude. Like, I don't know. Meanwhile, people were ripping on Honkai Part 2 like there was no tomorrow. I mean, true. That's its own right. They're not wrong for that. And I don't know what happened, but 1 year later, things were completely opposite. HSR and Genshin are both severely criticized for not being able to deliver on with Amphorius and Alan. Amphorius, I feel like it's fine. It is fine. It's pretty mid. It mostly just story building, world building at first. So like we can't give a shit. So we can't shitting on it that early. Of course, people will, but I think I will give it time. 2 chapters, or like 2.3 max. If after that it's still shit, but like no, if until that it's still shit, I think I'm gonna lose like 70% of enthusiasm to the lore. Like if until 23 the story still asks. After that, even if it's getting good, I think I'm just gonna skip the shit, man. I'm not gonna invest more time in just the story. If I think it's not getting good, simply so. And Natlan, I don't play Genshin, so I have no idea about Natlan. I did saw people shitting on Natlan, but in the end, it's getting good. So I don't fucking know. Like I think the problem with the Hoyo game story writing is that they build up the lore for, I guess, way too long, and then have a very big payoff. What I think is that like the concept is good for people who invest in the lore, right? Like if, example, like this HomuLabs guy, right? He keep investing on part 2 lore, and then it get a very big payoff later in, like this chapter, this current past chapter, or like the last one. The people, like, that's the people who the story writer are investing in, right? I don't think the writer care about the casual mass. I think they care more about this type of fan, the lore driven or the lore master, whatever you call them. I think they are more catered towards this type of people than the casual fan base, which I think is fine. Which I think is kind of fine, but sometimes the casual are like the soul the game, not the law master, whatever, right? So maybe you also have to consider the casual in the equation for a bit for the story writing. Just a bit, just a small bit. Just make the story less bloated. Yeah, that's the word I'm gonna use for entire yapping here. The bloated is I think it's like the most important part. They yap way too much, and most of the yap is so useless. Like they are not even important to law at all. Like 40% of the writing, they are not even that important. So just simply cut out on those yapping, and I think they're gonna be good for both the law master and the casual. Just simply cut out the law. Simply cut out the yapping between the important events. Okay. What else? While most people I see online have talked to who stuck with Part 2 are happy with it despite the disappointing beginning. I mean, that's the people that the devs are investing in. The people who stuck with the game. That's the people the devs are looking for. The story turn around once we hit chapter 3. Chapter 3. Okay. And that is still during the lunch show, yes. Started focusing more on characters instead of just wood building. The pacing is also much better since they decided to ditch the 3-act structure and made the entire story available in one go. Wait, chapter 3? I thought chapter 3 is during the... Was it not? Like during the Lantern of Phenomena moment? I thought they did have 3... Okay, whatever. Probably too long ago, so my brain just forgot. Okay. Average of 5 to 3 hours, so 3 to 4 hours. No, that is good. No, that is fucking banger. 3 to 4 hours, I love that shit. 5 to 7s? 5 to 7s! 2 visual fucking novels. Or maybe just one, or half of them. Also, the reveal of Mars' true nature and the mysteries surrounding the circumstances of both new and old characters really offered a new reason to invest in the story, something the first chapters lacked. I guess it's good because I guess we have a solid goal to reach. Is that what? To like fix Mars or find out like finding the hidden of Mars or whatever. I guess it's good. Whereas the first few chapters we are just fucking around find out, man. I have no idea what we're doing. Like I think I remember that we go to lunch, we discover the Songcher or whatever, right? She talk about the festival, the thing. Like it's keep going around and around. There are no clear goal. What are we doing? So I guess this is good. We have a true goal of what we're doing. Like part 1, the honkai. The entire story is about the honkai. However, auto comment, that's one thing to care about, and then after that, the culture, blah 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 blah, and then Elysium Realm. That entire thing resolved around honkai stuff, so that's good. Whereas part 2, it's keep going fucking around. We have nowhere it's going. So at least they have a foundation of what to do. Also, I know that part 2 still gives us a visual novel presentation format in some part. I think that's fine. I think this is just honkai stuff. I think that's fine. But can we appreciate the quality increase for the presentation? The camera work in the movement we switch. This I have no idea, man. I just don't give a shit about this one. But I do love that they still keep the visual novel stuff, the VN stuff. That thing is very nice. That's like the thing that make honkai, man. Like the thing that make honkai, the visual novel. The QL updates we got this past year also make the play game a lot easier. That's true. That's fucking true. The LTE for Mirage plus the replacement for co-op plus the adventure task, all that combined to one thing and not tickets. That's pretty fucking nice. Stigmata being incredible. I think that's also QL. That's pretty good. Gacha be semi better for some people, not me. I guess also QOL. What else? QOL updates. I think that's it, right? I think that's it. Yes. Blah blah blah. Focusing on more important most and not wasting time with repetitive content. True. The new AR system turned out to be much easier, much healthier for the meta than people initially thought. I feel like this is true for a certain extent. That is true, however. Let's focus on the past then, because you can skip on some supports and use the old one, and they will still be fine for a while. Of course, you're not gonna top with it, but you'll still be fine. Maybe skip some DPS to be fine. Just roll for supports. That should be good. Fine as well. That is, I think, usually the plan for part 1. And for part 2, that is something though. Let's analyze. Every patch has been S rank, whereas compared to part 1, it's been like S rank, craftable, like S rank being craftable or SP Vox, and then S rank again, keep repeating. I think that cycle is fine because it's allowed you to roll for stigmata and not for characters. Of course, you would still need to get weapons, and the banner for part 1 is pretty horrendous. The weapon banner for part 1 is fucking horrendous. And whereas compared to part 2 weapon banner, some would say it's good, but some say it's bad. It's dog shit. For me, the weapon is the same thing, man. Both are dog shit. Like hit max speed to get weapon. Fucking hell, part 2, dude. That thing horrible. So the weapon banner stay less or the same, better or worse. I don't fucking know. It depends on people luck. The character wise, I think he also mentioned some here. New team building mechanics are based on AR and support stacks are very versatile. So basically, like, summarize full the entire thing here. The support can also be DPS, and the DPS can also be support. Like Flamna, right? Support, like Senna as well, Lantern, Songcher, Durandal, can be Sparkle also. Like every part 2 characters has been a fucking support plus a DPS. Whereas compared to part 1, the example we have is Rebirth, Senti, Truth, Grisil Auto, the Auto Grisil, and that's it. Yes, most characters in part 1 are either just solid support, just fixed into support, or fixed into DPS. I think that's fine because of the S rank cycle. That cycle alone make the ability for you to get character plus weapon pretty good. Like, yeah, like I said before, you get character, get weapon, next rank, next patch is SP, so you can save some for characters. So just roll for weapons, that stuff. I think that's fine. So I guess more same thing here. Part 2 is kind of more new player friendly because they don't have to roll for the entire fucking team for 12 characters, right? 3 for physical, 3 for fire, 3 for ice. Some can be recycled between, but 12 maximum. Whereas for part 2, you can roll for 3 and you would solid for 3 weathers. Flamna, Lantern, Senna, or Vita. Those 3. Just need to roll for those 3 or 4, and you are solid for 3 weathers. Physical, right? Just get Durandal or Songcher. And boom, 5 or 4 characters. Solid for entire 5 weathers. 4 weathers, right? Yeah, 4 weathers. That's it. That's only it. Just 4 or 5 characters and you are solid for that, for the entire fucking Abyss. Or my Morena. Of course, they are more, of course, in some weather, they are more preferable Fox. Like some prefer Durandal, some prefer Songcher. Like, but still, even if you don't have Durandal or Songcher, you can still use one of them and you would still be solid. You would still be topping. And compared to part 1, if you do have this character and skip this, sometimes it can be no. And compared to part 1, you have to roll for more. And that's literally it, right? Part 1 is like, if you play the game long, part 1 is fine. And then, but if you start on part 1, rolling is going to be a pain. But if you start rolling on part 2, that shit is banger. You get, just roll for 5. Again, roll for 5. Solid. And for the long-term players, same shit as well. But basically, part 2 AR system, they are pretty good for newbies. And that is what the game needs, really. All in all, I feel like the game is pretty good. It's in a pretty good position. Is it perfect? No. True. It still has many issues. Please stop yapping. Please finish updating that UI. UI really? I think they finished updating UI. Okay, sure. Give us a break from back-to-back S rank. Fucking true. I'm curious and give us new endgame most centered around part 2 mechanics and characters. I don't know what they have other than a base, MA, and Elysium Realm. I don't know. Honkai is an old game that is past its prime. True. Many games don't get to this point. Minecraft. Minecraft. But despite that, the devs keep trying to improve it and pour their soul onto it. Sometimes I do feel like it, but most of the time, some other time, I feel like, what the fuck they doing? I've always said that I will stop caring about Honkai when I feel like the devs themselves also stop caring. Okay. But I am happy to see that it's not the case, but it's on the right track. I feel like it is, right? We are getting some good character development, so I think that's good. And if they keep up the momentum and continue to improve 1 year from now, it will be even better. Hopefully so. I'm glad I decided to stick with it. I'm curious to see what you guys think. Well, been yapping for the last like 20 minutes. Did part 2 redeem itself in your eyes? Yeah, kinda. Not really though. Or did you love it from the start, or did you leave the game for good? I think most people did leave the game for good. I think they did. Really though. So yeah. Overall, Samurai part 2 is fine. Not really. The start is pretty dog. The start of part 2 is very bad. But they did kinda remain better. Or the same really. Improvement on some part, but like I feel, in my opinion, everything feels the same. Like nothing changed at all. No, the QOL is fucking insane. I love that shit. Other than that, nothing at all. So yeah. That's the jabbing then. That's the jabbing. 20 minutes jabbing. Holy shit. Alright. That's gonna be a clips of all time.